if you have never considered teaching. I was not interested in teaching at all when I took it, just wanting to learn more about yoga, and teaching is what I do now full time. So it can change your life in unexpected and a myriad of different ways. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So should you be interested at all, I'm happy to help you out with getting those details and pointing you in the right direction. Let's get started. Child's pose. Prone position, so your chest is towards your mat. Spread your knees very wide and take your fingers all the way to the end or beyond of your mat. Start here to press down everything that's touching the floor, the tops of your feet, your fingertips, the palms of your hands. Press the heels of your hands into the floor to send your hips back a little further. And let them fall onto your feet, onto your ankles. And we'll start to build our breath here together. So on the inhale, fill up completely. Notice the pause at the very top. And then on the exhale, empty completely, noticing the pause at the very bottom. Start to add in right here that little bit of constriction in the back of your throat that's going to make your breaths sound like the ocean waves. Start to listen for your neighbor's ocean waves and add yours to them. Yeah, so not necessarily having to be in sync, but we're creating a community breath as an opportunity to listen in and stay present. And then in practice of creating the practice with everyone else in the room. Last big breath here. Fill your lungs completely. Exhale it out. Take your first downward facing dog. Now you go ahead and create the movement here that you need to start embodying your body. So bend one knee and then the other. Stretch your toes. Maybe take the hips side to side here. Really, essentially, we're just trying to get out all kind of the creaks and cracks right here. So whatever movement you need in order to get you ready to move. Incorporate your breath with your movement. On the inhales, lift your heels all the way to the ceiling. And on your exhale, bring them back down to the mat. 2 more like that together. Fill up and empty out. 1 more. Fill your lungs. Empty them. Move feet to hands. Take on ragdoll. So this is like a forward fold, except the pit of your belly pulled all the way up into your spine. So you've got that big C-shaped curve. Nice. Now let your head drop. Let your shoulders drop. Maybe you sway side to side here with your breath. Again, getting ready to move. Press your feet down. And on your next inhale, rise all the way to stand. Extended mountain, reach up to the ceiling. Hands at heart center. And then drop them to your sides for a Tadasana. So we're here in our mountain pose. And we're taking a journey into power for the next 90 minutes. Every journey needs a roadmap. Tadasana is our roadmap. Every pose we take, simply a variation on this. So let's create it together. Lift and spread your toes. Place your feet on 12 o'clock. So notice that the sides of your feet are parallel to the sides of your mat. Press your big toe mound down. Press the center of each heel down. Now lift up from the pelvis through to the crown of your head. Pull the leg muscles to the bone. Turn your inner ankles back and pull the outer shins in. Pull the sides of your body here up to your ears. Expand your chest and upper back. Pull the shoulders straight back. Front ribs pull into center. Pull the jawbone straight back towards your neck. Yeah, so now we're long and tall in every part of the body. This pose is where we have our greatest strength, but also our greatest ease. We'll create every pose in this way. Inhale here, reach up, extended mountain, press your feet into the floor, hands to heart center. Let's start this journey with 3 ohms together. Full breath in. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, create a long flat spine here, shoulders on your back, and fold, exhale. Inhale, extended mountain, reach up, look up. Fold, let it go. Halfway lift, fill the sides and the back of your lungs, and fold. Just create movement with breath. Extended mountain, breathe in, reach up. Fold. Halfway lift, chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in and exhale. 2 more like that together. Fill up and empty. Last one, prepare to move. Exhale out, feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, press your feet into the floor. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. 2 more together. Last one. Empty out, feet to hands, half lift. Fold. Extended mountain, gaze between your fingertips. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, press your feet down, up dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. And exhale. 2 more, fill up. And empty. Fill up. Blow it out. Feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, go up, go back. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And empty. Breathe for your neighbor if you can't hear them. Last one, fill and empty. Feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, press your big toe mounds down. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or hop back, upward facing. Downward facing dog, big breath in. And exhale. Fill up. And blow it out. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, feet to hands, half lift. Fold. Extended mountain, last time here. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, press your hands down. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. And empty. 2 more. Prepare to move. Empty out. Feet to hands. Half lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit deep. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Press down through your big toe mounds. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, left side. Use your inhale to rise. Exhale to chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. 2 more. Last one. Empty out, feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold, chair pose. Fold, half lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side warrior 1. Reach for the paws at the top, chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing dog, left side. Reach up, look between your fingers, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. Big breath in and empty. 2 more together. Last inhale. Exhale it out. Feet to hands, half lift. Fold. Chair posting deeper. Nice. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Up dog, gaze up. Down dog, gaze between your feet. Warrior 1. Inhale, rise, gaze to the ceiling. Chaturanga. Take your drishti point to point. Up dog, down dog, left side. Inhale, rise. Chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. Breath in. Clear out the extra heat. 2 more. And empty. Last one. Empty out. Feet to hands, half lift. Fold. Chair pose, extend your arms. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1, right side. Press through your heels. Chaturanga. Upward facing, down dog, left side. Inhale to rise, exhale chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths together. Supporting your neighbor, supporting all the other yogis in the room with every breath. 1 more in, exhale it out. Feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold, chair pose. Last one, fold, half lift, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, warrior 1, right side. Steer the hip forward. Nice, chaturanga. Upward facing, down dog, left side. Steer that right hip toward forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Big breath in, lion's breath out. Nice. 1 more of those. And empty. Lift your right leg up behind you. Dial, careful of the wall, dial all 5 toes down here toward the mat. So our hips here are at neutral, just like they are in Tadasana. Now let's take the variation. Bend your knee, open your hip up, stay here, or flip your dog. And flip dog can be accessed by sitting on your bottom first and then lifting. Reach your left fingertips past the front of your mat. Let your gaze meet your fingertips, maybe even beyond. 1 more breath here. Both hands down, side plank. Right hand down, left arm lifted. And here we are again, Tadasana, just laid over on its side. So take your heels, and if they're together, separate them just a little. Pull your leg muscles into the bones. 1 more big breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in, clear it out. Lift your left leg up behind you. Dial all 5 toes down toward the mat. Yeah, and press through your heel. Your left leg is completely extended. Bend your knee, open up your hip, flip your dog. The center of your chest moves up toward the ceiling. Yeah, can you feel that in your own body? Take your left arm here and cactus it to get a little more space in the chest, expanding both the chest and the upper back. Let your drishti follow your fingertips. One more big breath. Both hands down, side plank, left arm down. Press through your heels. If they're together here, separate them just a little. So turn the inner ankles back. Can you feel that lift all the way up into your inseams of your thighs? One more breath. Chaturanga, nice work. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Empty out. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. Come down low in your lunge right away. So our pelvis and our hips are the heaviest part of our body. So the further we get them down toward the floor, the easier the balance is here. Bring your front knee close to 90. And then start to find that lift like we did in the Tadasana. So lifting from the pelvis all the way to the crown. And then from there, you've got the best chance to take that little back bend here for the crescent shape. Reach all the way up, lengthen both sides of your body, and see if you can take your gaze back. One light bar, maybe a couple of feet across the ceiling. Reach up, look up, one more breath. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. Keep a long spine here in your twists. So like if we're wringing out a dish rag, you can't really expect it if you leave it limp in the middle to do much when you twist it. So we extend it, lengthen your spine, and then twist from there. You've got 2 more breaths on this side. Lengthen, exhale to twist. Inhale to lengthen, twist it out a little more. Crescent lunge, reach up, maybe reach back. Warrior 2. Come down low in your front leg. Yeah, so feet on 12 o'clock. Your right foot here is parallel to the side of your mat. Pull the front ribs in towards center. Lift the front of the pelvis up towards your belly button. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, reach toward the back of your mat. On your next inhale, extend your front leg, take all the bend out, extended side angle. So fingertips come down to a block or towards your mat in front of your right foot. Reach your fingertips all the way up past your ear. So closer toward the front of your mat, come this direction. Very nice. Pull the jawbone straight back towards your neck. One more big breath. Reach both arms forward like you've got a beach ball between them. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. Step your left foot forward, crescent lunge. Set up your feet, come down low in your lunge again right away. Now your back foot is kind of the rudder for this pose, so notice with your proprioception, your felt sense, or maybe even look back to notice that your heel is stacked right over the ball of the foot. And if it's all the way back behind, you've got more room to come down in your lunge. Nice, now find that lift for the little back bend. Lift up, go back a few inches. Keep all that length in both sides of your body. Hands to heart center, twist to the left. Expand your chest and upper back here by pressing your hands together. And then if you'd like to open up or take a bind, go there. If you're going for the full bind, a full 90 degrees in that front knee is the ticket to getting there. Yeah, lengthen your spine here, twist it out. You've got 2 more breaths. Lengthen and twist. Lengthen out, twist a little more. Back to crescent lunge, gaze toward the ceiling. Warrior 2. Low in your front leg. And set this up just like Tadasana in the front of your body. So lift the front of the pelvis up toward the belly button. Pull your front ribs into center so they're stacked right over top of your hips. Nice adjustments. Take your drishti over your front fingertips. And just be in this place of receiving the pose for another breath. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Next, inhale, extend your front leg, take all the bend out. Extended side angle, come back down to 90 degrees in your front knee. Fingertips toward the front arch. Beautiful. And again, take and reach your hand all the way up over your ear. So you have the greatest and biggest line of stretch here from your back ankle all the way to your fingertips reaching forward. Go for the bind or open, your choice. One more breath, reach forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Empty it out. Move your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit and stay. Create your true north feet here. So lift and spread your toes. Press the mound of your big toes down and the center of each heel down. Find that little turning out of the inner ankles back. Feel the lift up through your pelvis and reach up further. Extend your arms all the way. One more breath right here and fold. Fingers to toes, forward fold. Forward fold, just another expression of the Tadasana. So you've got your feet right where they were in your chair pose. Use the pressing down of your heels to access the floor here. So you're pressing down so you can lift up. All the muscles in the backs of your legs, use them to lift your pelvis up toward the ceiling. Your sit bones go straight up. Very nice. Release your toes. Inhale, chair pose. Sit low, reach high. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. And with all of our twists, keep the length in both sides of your body here. So breathe through your left side rib cage and see if there's more length to be found there. Breath in to lengthen. Breath out to twist. 2 more together. Last one. Exhale it out. Back to chair. Hands to heart center, twist to the left. Stay low. Yeah, you've got it. Press your hands together or open them. Twisting here just from the top of the spine. So inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 2 more, lengthen and twist. Last one, fill up, empty out, back to chair pose, sit lower and fold. Palms to toes, forward fold. So here's gorilla pose. We're going to lay the backs of our hands on the mat and then simply step onto the palms. Bend your knees a lot or a little to make this happen. But even for us that are super bendy, flexy, keep a little tiny bend in the knees, again, so you can access the floor and press the sit bones all the way up. Nice. Now right here, can you take your elbows a little wider and see if there's some more length to be found in your fold? Pull down on your feet. Reignite your breath. Big one in. Exhale it out. Release your feet. Crow pose. Crow, goddess, another inversion. You customize your practice and choose where you're taking this. So crow's going to look like our hands on the mat, wrists parallel to the front. Create little shelves with the backs of the arms. And then you're going to place your knees right above or outside of those little shelves. Squeeze in with your knees. Press out with your elbows. Pull your belly button into your spine and take 2 more breaths wherever you're playing right now. On your exhale, chaturanga, step or hop back. Nice, jump back up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. You sigh it out. And another, fill up. Empty. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain, reach up, look up. Eagle pose, right side. So right arm comes under, right leg over, and have a little seat. Set your drishti, your gaze on one specific spot in front of you. A strong gaze on something that you can name that you're looking at, but a soft gaze. So your eyes are simply resting in their sockets. Bring your breath into the pose. See what's to be had there. Expand the chest and upper back on your inhale. Pull the navel to the spine on your exhale. Switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. So we're in our balancing series here, our balancing family of movement. So the drishti and the breath are the 2 biggest pieces here to quote unquote landing a pose. Put in and keep present just those 2 pillars to keep yourself steady at center. Nice focused gazes all across the room. Switch sides, eagle on your right. Find your default eagle here, the one that you get to where you say, this is my eagle, this is how it shows up for me, and sit another inch or so lower. Yeah, and you may find that that gives you a little bit of extra room to pull your thighs in together. And a little bit of extra room for your pelvis so you can lift the front of your pelvis up towards your belly button. Pull the shoulders straight back. Switch sides. Last time here on the left. Drishti present. Breath present. Find your default eagle and then sit a little bit lower. Nice. Now start to pull into that center line. Thighs coming together, navel to spine. Stack your ribs right over top of your hips by pulling the front ribs back and in. Nice. One more breath. And release both feet to the mat. Automatically, just go to your Tadasana, feet parallel at 12 o'clock. Lift and spread your toes, press your big toe mounds down. From right here, we create standing leg raise. So lift up your right leg. You choose here if you're grabbing the knee or the toe. Externally rotate to the right. Gaze moves toward the left. So here we are in Tadasana with just the leg variation. So can you feel that you're as tall as you can get here? Pull the front ribs into center. Nice, one more breath. Bring it back to center, airplane pose. Press your heel all the way past the back of your mat. Reach your fingertips all the way back for your heel. And this, again, just Tadasana with that leg lifted. So dial all 5 toes down toward the mat. So now we have neutral hips facing the mat. Can you feel that in your own body, that work that's happening on your left side hip? From here, open up half moon. Yeah, great spot again here for a block to place your fingers on, help you keep a little bit more balance. Press through your heel so much that it lifts another inch or two. One more big breath. Both feet to the mat. Straight back to Tadasana. Feet on 12 o'clock. Take that variation here. Lift your left leg. Externally rotate to the left. Gaze moves to the right. Get tall in your torso. Nice. Now pretend here that you're at the doctor's office with that thing above your head that is measuring your height. How would you make that move up right here? Find more length. Pull the sides of the body up. Back to center, airplane. Steer this pose with your big toe mound of your standing foot. Press into it. And now press through the big toe mound of your lifted foot. Flex it, feel it get light. Open up half moon. Expand your chest and upper back here. Nice. Now lift the leg another inch or two. I love how I always ask for 2, 3 inches and y'all give me like 10. Do that again. Lift up. Both feet to the mat. Very nice. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, extended mountain. Dancer pose on your right. Catch the inside of your right ankle with the soft part of the elbow facing out, thumb facing up toward the ceiling. So you've got lots of length here and opening in your right shoulder. And imagine that here we are looking at another form of Tadasana. So bring your lifted knee towards center line by steering it down towards your mat. Nice, and you feel both hips come back to neutral. Switch sides. Find that same feeling of neutral hips on the other side of the body. Find your length. Pull your navel to your spine. Center of your chest moving forward. Nice. Now steer that knee down toward the mat. Great adjustments. Breathe into it. It got a little bit quiet. One more here. Switch sides. We get an opportunity to do dancer again on the right. Grab for the inner ankle, squeeze the knees together, then send your shin back. Flex your lifted foot and press it all the way up toward the ceiling, like up toward the plane of your head. Yeah, one more breath. Switch sides. Find as much length in the front side of your body as you can. 2 more breaths. Last one. And release. Tadasana, tree pose on your right. You choose here where the foot goes, anywhere from the floor down by your ankle, all the way up to the top of your thigh is fair game. Just avoiding the inside of the knee, so above or below the knee. Create a good sense of your center line here by pressing your standing foot, or excuse me, your standing leg into your lifted foot and your lifted foot into your standing leg. Lift the front of the pelvis towards your sternum. Pull the front ribs in towards center. Nice, shoulders straight back. Express the arms way up, way out, whatever makes you feel big and present. 2 more breaths right here. Close the eyes or take the gaze to the ceiling. Both feet to the mat. Tadasana, feet on 12 o'clock. Left side tree. You choose the foot placement. And it doesn't have to be the same on this side as it was on the other. Our bodies are naturally not necessarily completely balanced on both sides. And that's perfect. That's why we do yoga. Press into center. And from there, feel the lift. How in your own body can you create more space from the bottom of your ribs to the top of your hips? 2 more breaths. Close the eyes or take the gaze up. And both feet to the mat. Press down, reach up, extended mountain. Fill your lungs and fold. Halfway lift, long flat spine. Chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, triangle pose. Now take up a ton of space here, front to back on your mat. Little tiny bend in both knees. That way we can access the floor by pressing the heels down and then getting that nice rebound from the earth for that lift. Can you right here find length in the whole right side of your body? Maybe on an inhale, you lift a little bit. And then on the exhale, find more length. So we're really engaging that right side oblique, part of our core and abdominals, to hold us up here. Press both feet down, side facing wide leg forward fold. Toes to the left side of your mat. On an inhale, pull the sides of the body up to the ears and then fold. And then keeping the same principles here that we do in our forward fold family of movement. Press your heels down into the floor. Little bend in the knee. And then press your sit bones all the way up toward the ceiling. Press into my hand. Nice. If there's an inversion or some lunges that are needed here, go ahead and take those on. Like a nice twist side to side in this pose. Really keeps the bottom half of the body stable while the top half is what's moving. Press down and use your strong core to rise all the way up. Namaste, front facing forward fold. So take our mini warrior one stance, right foot forward. You choose the bind behind your back. traditional namaste hands, or maybe just grabbing the elbows, and then hinge forward. Keep your long, flat back here by lifting your shoulders up toward the ceiling. You'll feel your scapula, your shoulder blades pulling together on your back. Twist your triangle. Left arm down, right arm to a T or toward the ceiling. Take your drishti past the right side of your mat. Pull the jawbone straight back toward the neck. So you're taking the back of your head and pressing it in. Yeah, press into my hand. Yeah, a little more, just like that. One more breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Clear it out. Left side triangle. Set your feet here, back foot parallel to the back of your mat. And then swing your heel out just a little bit further than your toes are. That's going to bring that hip into neutral. So now we have one hip open and one hip at neutral. Press down into the heel of your back leg. Use that to access the lift here on your left side. Yeah, keep the little tiny bend in your knee. Expand your chest and upper back. Press your thoracic spine forward to your chest. Next, inhale, rise to stand, side facing, wide leg forward fold. Put in and keep present the little micro bend in your knees. And then take your fold. Lots of options here. We've got some binds happening behind the back, some binds with straps. Looks like we got an inversion that's about to start happening, some twists. You take on what you need right here. Tuck your chin and let your head drop. Press your sit bones all the way up toward the ceiling. Really lengthen the whole backside of your legs. Rise to stand. Namaste, front facing forward fold. Mini warrior one, grab your bind and hinge forward. And that hinge is coming right from your hip creases. So rather than a rounding in the back, we want to create the spine as long and flat. Nice, keep pulling the shoulders together on your back. Press down into your feet. Twist your triangle. Right arm down, left arm to a T or toward the ceiling. Let that twist happen here from your rib cage up. So the hips stay exactly as they were in your forward hinge. Use your inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist a little more. Inhale, lengthen. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Pull your heart forward. Downward facing dog. Press through your hands here and lengthen your spine all the way up and back. Get as much length on both sides of the bodies as you can muster right here. On your next inhale, roll all the way out to a high plank. And here we are in another form of Tadasana, just laid over on the floor. So press the big toe mounds down. Lift and spread your toes, or at least the action thereof. Pull the leg muscles to the bones. Lift the pelvis up towards your sternum. One more big breath. Slowly lower all the way down to the floor. Yeah, knees can come down first. Once you're there, locust pose, press your hips down. Inhale, rise. Yeah, so finding a ton of length all the way from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Your chest might lift an inch or two, maybe a lot more. Toes might lift a little. Stay long. One more breath. Lower down. Right cheek to the mat. Windshield wiper your feet side to side. And take locust number 2. Press down, rise up. Pull the pit of your belly in toward the spine. So you're pulling your belly button up like it does not want to touch your mat. Reach your fingertips all the way for your heels and pull your shoulders straight up. One more breath. Lower down to the floor. Left cheek to the mat. Feet back and forth. Feet back to center. Floor bow. We're going to do 2, so you make the decision if you're going to do one leg and then the other or both at the same time. Reach for the outsides of your ankles. And on an inhale, send your shins straight back. It's going to lift your chest just a few inches, maybe more than a few inches. Breathe down into the bottom of your lungs just in case. One more big breath. Lower all the way down. Take your feet side to side if they need to. Floor bow number 2. Squeeze your knees together into your center line. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to our peak pose, which is those big back bends. So we need all of these little back bends in order to work up to the big ones. Keep pressing your feet all the way up to the ceiling. One more big breath. Lower down to the mat. Bring your ankles together and take them in a big circle, one way and then the other. Place your hands at your lowest ribs on an inhale, upward facing dog. Big breath in here, downward facing dog. Full breath in, lion's breath out. Bring your knees down to the mat for camel pose. Set yourself up with your shoulders over your hips and hips straight over your knees. So essentially, again, we've got Tadasana right here, but just on our knees. Place your hands at your low back, and on an inhale, we'll reach the center of the chest up to the ceiling. And just like in all of our back bends, the first thing we want to go for here is the length. So lift up like you could reach the center of your chest and touch the ceiling. On an inhale, rise up and out. Sit back on your heels for high hero or take a down dog. Yeah, giving that just a moment to neutralize. Camel number 2, rise on up. Hands in your imaginary back pockets, or maybe this time they reach all the way for the backs of your heels. Your choice how far you take it. Keep your hips at neutral here. So one thing that happens to us in these back bends is we start to go back, and then if we don't have a whole lot of flexibility in the hip flexors, the hips kind of want to open and everything splays out. Keep everything tucked into your center line. On your inhale, rise up and out. Sit back on your heels for high hero or take a down dog. Lengthen your spine, sit up as tall as you can. And we'll move to bridge. Bring your feet all the way around, flat on your back with your knees to the ceiling. We'll set ourselves up here in that true north alignment. So feet on 12 o'clock, parallel. Press your big toe mounds down. Press the center of each heel down. Lift up, hips to the ceiling. Now feeling your body here that your heels are directly underneath of your knees. Very nice adjustments. One more big breath right here. Lower all the way down. Breath in together and out together. Press down, rise up. Bridge number 2. Again, making our way up to that larger back bend. So just building on each one. A little bit bigger and a little bit bigger so we can create all of this great space. And when you get to these bigger back bends, you then have the ability to fill all of that space you've created. One more breath, lower all the way down. You've got 6 more back bends, bridge or wheel. You get to decide where you're taking each one. Set your hands if you're going for wheel, press down, rise up. Create your feet here at the top on 12 o'clock so most of us can take our toes just a little closer together. Very nice. One more breath. Lower down. Breath in. Blow it out. Number 2, inhale, rise. And maybe there's a leg lifting this time, an arm lifting, something that challenges you. One more breath. Lower down. Breath in. Blow it out. Number 3, press down, rise up. Bridge or wheel. How much space can you get here from the bottom of your ribs to the tops of your hips? Pull your navel to the spine to support all of that opening. One more breath. Lower down. Number 4, on an inhale, rise. Stay here in your bridge or wheel with a soft gaze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Breath in and out. Rise on up. Number 5. So your opportunity here for 2 more wheels or 1 long one. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay or lower down. Yeah, 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Inhale, rise. Meet Cindy and Paige here at the top. Press down for 3, 2, 1. All the way down to the mat. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees out wide. A hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Create your spine here so it's flat on the floor. So you might tuck your shoulders up underneath of you a little bit. A little tuck of the hips if you need to lengthen out your lumbar spine. Bring your breath all the way down into your belly. Dead bug. Take our feet to the ceiling, grab for the outer edges of your feet, or maybe the backs of your thighs here. You can choose which one of those options is right for your body today by feeling into that bony plate, your sacrum at your low back. Let that rest on the floor. Okay, so it may even be a day to bend your knees even more and grab for those shins. Nice adjustment. All right, feet to the ceiling. Here we are in stability, our core and abdominal poses, where we're gonna create the container that's gonna hold all that length and heat and vitality that you've just created. Press your feet up and flex them. Lower your right leg halfway down to the floor. On your exhales, switch. Press your feet into the air like you're scraping mud off the bottoms of them. Nice. Extend your leg all the way out. Stay for 3, 2, 1. Lift both legs to the ceiling. On an exhale, lower them 30 degrees down toward the floor. Yeah, extend them, lower another 30. All the way down, hover 2 inches above the mat. Take a look at your toes, lift your shoulders, send them back up. Exhale 30 degrees. Pull the pit of the belly to the spine. 30 degrees more. Down 2 inches to hover. Send them back up. You got 1 more. Exhale, lower 30. 30 more. Down to hover. Take a look. Little flutter kick, pendulum swing, something. Shift your vision. Send them back up. Hug your knees. Abdominal twists. Let's set our knees up right over top of our hips. Take your fingertips to the back of your skull, elbows wide, opposite elbow to opposite knee. You create your pace. Yeah, working with your body to create the pace that you need. Whether that's fast or slow, make your breath matter. Create your breath as part of the movement. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees. Rock forward and backward 3 times. We'll meet in boat pose. So rock all the way up to come balance on your sitting bones and create your boat. So heels can be on the floor, they can be lifted. Hands can be behind your legs for some support or reaching all the way out. Take the pose to the intensity that your body needs it to be right now and stay for another 5, 4. Pull the pit of the belly in. 2, 1. Hug your knees, rock back and forth. Now roll like a little ball and then make your way to right side half pigeon. On your back, on your belly, your choice where you take this. So on your belly, it's going to look like bringing your right knee up to your right wrist with the ankle over toward the left wrist. Yes, and you may find that a little bit of support on this side is helpful. Yeah, so lift on up a little bit and we'll place this underneath. Yeah, and see if you can extend this leg all the way back toward the back of your mat. Nice. Flex your right foot. It's going to keep any twisting or rotation out of your knee. And just notice what's going on with the back leg. We want to extend it all the way toward the back of the mat, so then the hip is at neutral. Switch sides, left side, half pigeon. So this time, left knee to your left wrist with the ankle headed over toward the right wrist. How far that left foot goes toward the front of the mat is different for everyone. Notice what's happening here with the back leg. Extend it all the way toward the back of your mat. And then use your proprioception to feel, is my heel headed toward the ceiling here? The default for a lot of us is that heel kind of pulls in or falls in towards center line or falls out the other direction. Place the whole top of your foot down on the mat, or the ball of your foot if that's the direction you've headed. Press yourself up and out. Double pigeon, swing your right leg all the way around. And we'll have a seat on our mat. So this one's just like crisscross applesauce, except your ankles are stacked right underneath or over top of your knees. And here's the place where you want to get all your props out. So if you've got a foot that's hanging out in the middle of nowhere or a knee that doesn't have any support, feel free to stick a block in either one of those places. Right here, lift both sides of your body all the way up to your ears. And if you're going to go for that forward fold, take it. If not, stay here, lifted. Lift all the way up from your tailbone through your cervical spine. Lastly, pull the jawbone straight back toward the neck. 3 big breaths right here, drishti to one spot. Breath in. Switch sides, opposite leg on top. You'll probably notice how on this side it's completely different than it was on the other. Place your props where they need to be for support. Lift the sides of the body up to your ears. And if you're going for the fold, fold forward. If not, stay lifted. If you're looking for a little more stretch but don't quite want to go for the forward fold, we can place our Barbie hands onto the tops of the thighs and roll them out just a little bit. Just increase the stretch a little. We'll go for 3 big breaths here. Fill up. Unwind your legs. Take frog. So on your back or on your belly, you'll face toward the side of your mat. And we'll create our body in a way that the chest is facing down toward the floor if you're going for on the belly. And we want 90-degree angles in your feet, in your knees, and then again in your hips. Pull the pit of the belly to the spine. Those of us that have our belly to the floor, we want to create a long, flat back. Very nice. So here's the top. Here's the bottom. Fill this space in between. So press up to meet my arm. Perfect. Keep hugging in, but then allow gravity to take it away. The really cool thing about being here and surrendering to gravity is like, yeah, we're letting gravity do its thing, but like we made that choice to let that happen. Gently make your way out of frog and back to your mat. No right way to get out of this pose. Sit up on your sit bones, bring your right leg extended out front, seated single leg extension. So left leg comes in like tree pose, reach the sides of the body to the ears, and hinge forward from your hip creases. We're in another forward fold movement here. So just like in the other forward folds, press your heel down into the floor. So that's forward here toward the front of the mat. Little tiny bend in the knees. Now send your sit bones back. Nice. So do you feel how that lengthened your whole spine right there? Release your toes, switch sides. Left side seated single leg extension. Bring back your breath here. Full breaths in, notice the pause. Full breaths out, notice the pause. Yeah, so this part of the sequence, a little less intense cardiovascularly, but the breath is so important in making these stretches happen. The muscles need oxygen in order to repair themselves and to stretch and to do all the lovely things we make them do. Feed them that oxygen. Press your heel toward the front of your mat, little bend in your knees, send your sit bones back. Does that give you in your body a little bit more strength to find a little bit of lift and therefore a bit more length? Release your toes. Seated forward fold. Your choice if the legs are together in front or if you feel like taking them out wide. Lift sides of your body up to your ears and hinge forward. Keep the little bend in the knee present. And then even those of us with our legs out wide here, bring the toes toward the ceiling. Great adjustment. Just like in the standing forward fold, press your heels forward to send your sit bones backward. Release your toes, tabletop or reverse plank. Place the whole sole of your feet down on the mat, lift your hips up to the ceiling. If it feels good, maybe the head drops back. One more breath here. Get a big stretch along the whole front side of your body and lower down to the floor. Fish pose. Grab your block and place it between your shoulder blades, the lengthwise. And then you're going to simply lay back like a mermaid. A few things to notice here. If you feel that your hips are way up in the air here and not connected to your mat, take your block a little bit higher toward your head. Nice. And then notice here, can you swallow? That may be an indicator that you need an extra block for right behind the head to keep the cervical spine long. Breathe deeply into your lungs. Exhale it out. Fill up. Exhale and let your shoulders drop back. One more like that. Fill up. Empty out. Roll to your right side to release your block or your elbows. Let's get upside down, rejuvenation. So we're flipping Tadasana on its head. Your choice here, if you've got a headstand or handstand practice, take that on near the top of your mat or use some wall space. Other options here are waterfall with the feet just up above the hips, You could take a supported waterfall with a block underneath. That's my favorite pose right now. And then right here, balance your feet directly over your hips. Create your true north feet here, feet on 12 o'clock. Lift and spread your 10 toes. Press the mound of each toe down or up toward the ceiling in this case. Press your heels up toward the ceiling. Turn the inner ankles back. Hug the outer shins in. You feel that work happening? Yeah, I see some of you shaking. Very nice. Pull the leg muscles into the bones. Flex your feet. Keep your breath moving. Yeah, and then drishti to one spot, especially those of us getting completely upside down. Something specific, but yet something easy to look at. Full inversions, take a few more breaths and then make your way down toward a child's pose. Shoulder stands and waterfalls, option to take plow. Bring your toes down behind your head into your drishti space. If they touch the floor, feel free to release your hands from your back and take a bind down at your mat. Yeah, press those knuckles toward the front of your mat. Plow to deaf yogi, bring your knees down around your ears. There may be a little squeeze to be had right around the ears. Let your back round a whole lot. Use your arms as brakes to roll all the way out onto your mat. Hug your knees into center once you get there and drop them over to the right side for a supine twist. Keep breathing here into both sides of your body. Take your legs to the left, supine twist to the left. Arms out wide, gaze can move to the right side. And this is another one of those poses within our twisting family of movement. So you notice that you're twisting right from the center of the pose and from the center of your body. The spine should feel really long and straight. Bring your knees back to center. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet come together. Knees widen. Use this pose here to set up your Shavasana. So you might tuck your shoulders underneath so your whole shoulder girdle can be flat on the mat. Lengthen out your lumbar spine here. If you notice that there's any heat or tension, this is a spot I like to lift my hips just a little bit off the mat, send my tailbone down toward my heels, and then replace them. Take 2 clearing breaths right here together. Fill up completely and sigh it out. One more like that. Fill up, empty out. Shavasana. Take your arms out long and wide. Take your legs out long and wide. Allow your breath to return to a natural pace here. Simply observing the flow in and out. No need to change anything about it, and no need to make it complicated. Simply observing. Some things you might observe here are the texture of your breath, the heat of your breath as it changes on your inhales and your exhales, and the depth of your breath. And again, nothing to change. Simply be the observer. And know that you can continue to keep your eyes open here or feel free to close them. I'll keep mine open to hold space for you. We have a slightly longer Shavasana today. So, an opportunity here for you to get courageously present. As you're observing the breath, you may notice the mind's tendencies to move on to something else. Simply notice and bring it back. Be present here to all of your bodily sensations. Know that you are not stuck here in stillness. If there is a movement that needs to be made, consciously make that decision and make that movement. Take notice again to when the mind starts to wander, simply bring it back. I'm going to share a passage from Journey to the Heart by Melody Beatty titled Open Your Heart to Universal Love. We live in a magical, living, vital, and personal universe, a world where universal love is real. We don't just live in it, though, we're a part of it, visibly and tangibly connected to it. The phone call that comes at the right time, a book that teaches us what we needed to know, a movie that has the message we need to guide us and open our hearts. An opportunity arises at just the right moment. An idea triggered by something someone says or an object that we didn't notice before. The more we open to universal love, the more it will be there for us, embracing, loving, holding, and guiding us. The more we learn to see it, the more it will be there until we start to wonder why we never saw it before. Open your heart to universal love. It's more than merely here, it's here for you. Jump into the arms of a living, magical world, and you leap into the arms of universal love. Be open and see how real it can be. Check back in with your breath. Watch and observe this inhale, now this exhale, and the next, one at a time. begin to deepen your breath. Fill your belly with each inhale and empty out with each exhale, lengthening each. And begin to bring some movement back to the body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circumduct your thumbs 360 degrees. Roll your wrists and your ankles. And bend your elbows and your knees. Work your way toward a full body stretch. Fingertips in one direction, toes in the other. Yeah, maybe a little tiny back bend. Hug it into center, knees to your chest. Give yourself the biggest hug you've received yet today. And roll over to your right side for infant's pose. Give your forehead somewhere nice and supportive to land on your arm, on your eye towel, on your mat. Send yourself some gratitude for showing up, doing the hard work of just getting here, and you at home just getting onto your mat. That's the hardest part of the whole practice. Send some gratitude to the yogis around you who showed up to do the work with you. And then take a moment to receive that gratitude for yourself. Press your left hand into the floor to rise to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed or drishti settled right in front of your nose. On an inhale, we'll reach for the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Press your thumbs into your chest so you can feel the vibration. And we'll end as we began with 3 ohms together. Big breath in. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. We bow and acknowledge each other. Thank you to each of you for showing up authentically in the way that you needed to today, and in doing so, allowing the rest of us to do the same. Namaste. Great practice, yogis. Thank you so much at home, those of you who joined us. Good to have you all. Questions, comments, feedback, I am here for it. Should you be interested in those workshops we have coming up or our next access program, I would love to tell you all about it and answer every question that you have. Props can come